Hello, I am so excited that we are going to talk about the 5 actions to take in your small business for its best quarter ever. Now, I want to preface this with why in a quarter? So how many of you, and it's okay, you can be honest here, how many of you started your Monday with all sorts of actions, hoping that maybe by Tuesday or even Friday that you would have the answers, you would see the results, you would get the sales in your business? So you had a thought on Monday, you created an action on Monday, and you're hoping and praying that by Friday you see the results of that. It's really common for us to put a lot of effort in one day, 1 week, and think that that is going to solve everything in our business, when actually it's going to take about 90 days to see results in your business. So whatever you do today, you will see the results of in 90 days. Now, you should be really excited about that for a lot of reasons, and we're going to get into that today. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Emily Hawkins. I am the owner of Your Life, Your Coach, and the founder of the Leadership Operating System, where I want to give you my MBA. I want to streamline your business for profitable results, because we all deserve to have businesses that are streamlined. I spent 15 years in the corporate world streamlining processes for productive results, and I want you to have that same effect. And the most fun part is that we're going to do it simple. I want everything that you learn here to be a no-brainer, something that you will implement, utilize, and not need a fancy degree or a giant calculator to do or understand. If anybody makes you think that business has to be complex, they're doing it wrong. So let's keep it simple and strategic and keep more money in your pocket, and also create more sustainability inside of your business so that you can run long term. So that is the goal, and that is what I am here to do today. So I want to start with, why 90 days? Why are we talking 90 days when every business usually sits down and plans annually? Now, I am not saying that you shouldn't plan an annual plan. I think having an annual plan is great, but the problem is when you have an annual plan, all of a sudden it's January 1st and you are thinking, well, we've got till December 31st to reach those goals. And it's just, there's a lot wrong with that annual plan if it's not broken into quarterly buckets. And when you think on a 90-day plan, in fact, it gives you more time to accomplish meaningful things, but also there's no room to procrastinate. So what I was just saying was, in January, you got all these great goals and we can meet those in, we've got until December. All of a sudden you have 12 months to do something, right? And so you put it off and you put it off and you put it off. But in reality, you put it off for so long that you actually don't accomplish much of anything. So really focusing on 90 days also gives you the ability to fail. And what I mean by failing is you actually can accomplish something meaningful in 90 days. So back to my example when we first started talking about, you are wanting to create something really great on Monday and have the results on Friday. Well, that's not probably going to happen, right? You need time to fail. You need time to learn. You need time to grow. And you need time for a robust solution to come into play. And that takes consistency. And so over 90 days, if you are doing something consistently, then you are going to see and reap the benefits of that thing. So we talked about there's no room for procrastination. It's so easy in our businesses to say, that's hard, I'm going to do that later. We're in a really busy season. I'm going to do that later. We're about to bring on new people. I'm going to do that later, right? There's always something that gets in your way if you're looking at things from an annual perspective versus a quarterly perspective. If you said by the end of the quarter you want to do something, then oh my gosh, you have 12 weeks. You have 12 weeks to do that thing. And all of a sudden it becomes something that you realize that you need to do now. Now, the main reason I'm talking about this today is because, guys, it's the end of first quarter. At the time of the recording of this, it is the end of first quarter, and I want you to take your next quarter into the next level. So let's talk about the other amazing thing that happens in a 90-day period. So if you are taking out procrastination and you know you have 12 weeks to do something, you are going to create productive habits. So if you know anything about habits, it typically takes 21, some people will say 14 days, some people will say 21. For me personally, that's a great way to establish something, but for it to become a productive habit for me is a 90-day process. It means the first month I'm really establishing things, the second month I'm putting this thing and really optimizing it, and then I'm able to put it on steroids in that month 3. So it creates productive habits for me. And it gives me no excuses for continuing on that path. So let's also talk about what these 5 things are that I want to talk to you today about. So there are 5 pieces to this puzzle to catapult your success and skyrocket your business in the next quarter. And the first one is widening your lens. So I love an analogy. It's one of my most favorite things. And I don't know if many of you are photographers or know anything about lenses, but you can have a lens that actually only shows a portion of the screen, or you can do a wide angle lens and get a bigger shot, right? So how does this affect your business? Well, actually 2 different ways. One is the majority of us think that success comes in one flavor. And you and I both know that success comes in 10,000, a million, a billion different flavors, an infinite number of flavors. Yet in our minds, success must come to us in one form. And it's funny when you think about it like that, because you probably haven't even said this out loud, that my business will be successful when it comes in this form. It comes this way. It's this specific thing and only this thing. And it's funny because the average millionaire has 7 different streams of income. Now, we're going to talk in a few minutes about how I don't want you to do 7 things in 90 days. That's a bad idea. What I do want you to do is think about, there could be 7 different ways that I could be making money that I'm not even thinking about. And that just widening your lens a little bit, that it doesn't have to happen exactly the way you think. If you said to me that my success would be what it is now, back when I was in my 20s, I would have laughed at you. No way. This was not on my horizon. My idea of success was like this. And with business owners, it is very common for us to think that success looks and acts and dresses a certain way. My friends, it does not. It's going to come at you so many different ways. So my first thing about widening your lens is widening your thought process on what success actually looks like. So just owning that success can be so many different things in your business. If someone gives you a testimonial, I personally think that's a success because you can reutilize that. I believe that hiring and retaining great people, that's a success. Somebody wants to pay you for something that you don't have on your menu of options, that feels successful because they see value in you that maybe you didn't. So success comes in many forms. Now, I want to talk about the other thing in the widening your lens. So I have known many people in this world that have one-shot scarcity. So let me explain what one-shot scarcity is. So one-shot scarcity is, I got to strike while the iron's hot. This is my only opportunity. Business is flowing right now. I got to go. I got to make hay while the sun shines because, my friends, the sun is going down and there will be no opportunities ever again. This is my one shot. I don't play sports for a living, and you should really thank me for that, because you would not want to watch that. But if you are playing baseball, how many pitches you hit is actually how successful you are. But that's not how business works. And all of us, for some reason, think we're like batters in a baseball game and that we need to hit every pitch. Because if we hit every pitch, then we will be more successful. In business, it is not a one shot. It is a million shots. And you get to be at that plate as many times as you want. You get to have as many balls thrown your way as you want. Scarcity is a mindset. So one-shot scarcity, oh my gosh, I better get this opportunity with this person. Or I hope that this works, and it's important that I do this well, because it would be wonderful to work with X client, X person, deal, whatever. But what else can I learn in this situation that I can use for the rest of my business? Now, what I just described to you is actually something that I call abundant urgency. So I don't believe that you can just sit in a corner and feel abundant, like, oh, we're all abundant here. You do need to put action. You do need to put feet on your prayers here, as my dad used to say. What I will tell you is it's about abundant action. It's not about scarcity action. So scarcity makes you do things out of a dark spot. Like I said, you only have one shot to do something. You're only able to accomplish this one thing, when in reality, you have infinite time to create the change for your business. But there does need to be some urgency, hence why I think you need to do this in 90 days. So for this one in particular, widening your lens, two things. Success comes at you from many different angles. Be open to those possibilities. And second, embrace abundant urgency, where you want to move in aligned action with your business for long-term results, not just because you think this is your one shot and this is the only opportunity you're going to have. So let's move to the second thing that you need to do in the next 90 days to catapult your business and to have the best quarter ever. I want you to get lazy, my friends. I want you to get so lazy. What? Didn't we just talk about urgency and you want me to be lazy? I'm so confused. So my brother and I like to say that we are some of the laziest people we've ever met. And I pride myself on this. Pride myself on being lazy. Why? Because this is how I define being lazy. In my business, I want to touch one process one time. One time. We're going to touch a process one time. And then I don't ever have to touch it again, because I'm either going to hire someone or I'm going to automate it, or I'm just not going to do it because it didn't make me money. That's the lazy way of doing things. Do you like my lazy way of doing things? It seems so simplistic, right? So let's talk about how you do things right one time. So this means doing it right the first time. So going back to the one-shot scarcity mode, if we feel like we're going to lose out on an opportunity, we will band-aid solutions together and say, you know what, we'll come back later and we'll make it better. The problem is that we never do. And then we do another process like that and another process like that. And all of a sudden, we've got this giant knotted up yarn of processes that are thrown together and are kind of broken that we have to get out of. And it's going to take more time to get out of this than it would have to spend the time on the front end creating the right structure and processes. And this is really simple. In the Leadership Operating System, I actually show you how to do this while you're creating the thing. So that while you're creating something, you are actually creating the SOPs, and you touch that sucker one time. I keep putting my hand in the wrong spot. One time. And I love that, right? You want to be able to have someone who is not you doing this work. Here's the other great thing. So I want to talk, let's go back for a second about why this isn't a good thing. I want to talk about the good thing, but I want to talk about the bad thing first. So you've got this like knotted up, band-aided processes, right? So what do? You go out and you hire an expert to fix it for you. And that, my friends, is expensive. And maybe they don't even know what you're doing. Because even if you're in an industry that this person has been in before, the way you do things is different. The way you talk about things is different. The acronyms you use are different. So you are paying a very expensive person to fix a problem that you created, and they're probably not fully going to be able to fix it for you because they don't understand fully what's going on in your business. And if you do get them to that point, that is even more expensive because you've got all this training. So you can hire this really expensive person to fix this problem that you created that will take longer to fix, and it then becomes more expensive. Or you can do the lazy way, do it right the first time, capture it all, create the structure, and you can hire cheaper people. What? Yes. You can hire cheaper people when you have a great structure in place. So I like to think of this as building a low-cost structure with an expensive product. So if you have a low-cost structure, meaning it's something you have created simply but effectively, and you have a great product that you are selling on the other side, the cheaper the people are that you bring in to run this back-end piece, the more profits you get in your pocket, in the business's pocket, even hiring more people if you'd like for your business. And it all comes down to being lazy. Do it right the first time. If you do it right the first time, then you don't have the big knot to unfold. And again, I teach you all this in the Leadership Operating System because I don't think any of this has to be complex. I think it can be incredibly straightforward and simple so that you can actually spend more time with your clients working on the visionary piece of your business and less time redoing, untangling, and hiring really expensive people to fix the problems that you created. Yeah. So, and the other thing that happens when you are lazy and you do things right the first time is your work stops boomeranging. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard this term before. I may have made it up. I call it boomerang work. So you want to get something off your plate. So you're like, it's not the greatest answer, but I'll just throw it at somebody. And it's like an email, a solution for someone, but it's kind of half-baked, right? So what happens? A boomerang, well, if you throw a boomerang, it comes back. Actually, I've never gotten a boomerang to do that. When I was a kid, I remember I had an aunt that bought a boomerang in Australia for my brother and I, and we could never get it to boomerang back. Maybe it's because even as children, we were embracing the get lazy framework. Anyway, so I digress. I don't want work boomeranging back. I want your time to be, I work on things once and it does not come back to me. And I work on things once, I create the processes once, and I hire cheaper people that actually create better quality work. Let's do that. Let's do more of that, right? All right, so let's talk about number 3. Go all in on one thing. Now, I have spoken to a few of you, and I know that you have some amazing ideas. Oh my goodness. I talked to one of you that had about 5 different amazing business ideas. And by the way, all of them could be profitable. All of them could be an amazing service, product, thing for your customers, for this world. They'd be great. Here's the thing though, in 90 days, how do you go all in on all of those, right? So let's take the average millionaire, has 7 streams of income. So we get blinded by this, right? And we say, oh, they have 7 streams of income. So I'm going to go do 7 different business things, and I'm going to do all of them and just see which one plays out the best. Now, I get that. That sounds like a great idea. The problem is that there are only so many hours in a day. And let's look at a 90-day period, right? We're talking 90 days. 7 businesses in 90 days, that's not very much time per business, right? That's like a little over, 10 days per business or something? It's a little more than that. Let's say 12 days, and my math is not great. But 12 days? So you have 12 days to work on one business, and then you got to move to the next one, right? It's just not enough time to really build out robust solutions. Whereas if you took any of those business ideas, just one of them, it doesn't matter which one, pick one, go all in on that idea, that goal, that thing. We are going to fix this thing in 90 days. We are going to make this product profitable. We are going to actually replicate and duplicate and really go all in on this thing. If you do that, then all of your energy, all of your mental energy, all of your time, all of your talent, all of your skills are focused on this one thing. And what you focus on grows. So if you are putting 90 days of focus on one thing, that is some good stuff right there. Now, let's talk about, one thing. I think we all get a little like, yeah, but I got this and I got this and I got this, right? But if you're working in these quarterly goals, you can actually focus on 4 things. 4 things. And let's say you have some team members. So if you have some team members, you could probably, you are focusing on one, they are focusing on one, and all of a sudden now you are focusing on 8 things, right? A year. 8 things. 8 things moving in your business on an annual level? Holy cow, that is amazing, right? So think about how one thing per quarter could drive your business significantly forward. 12 weeks, one thing. It seems so simple, and yet you could focus on, so much more, and you could be making a profit so much faster with one thing. One thing. It's great that you want to do all the things. But remember, let's go back to that scarcity thinking. Let's think about abundant urgency here, right? If I want to be abundant, let me get urgent on one of my things. And believe you me, that if you are urgent on one thing for 90 days, the abundance will show up for you. So the scarcity can be put to the side. It's just amazing what you can learn in that time period. So let's talk about the 4th thing, which is do more of the right things. I told you, this is ridiculously simple because it should be. Nothing in your business needs to be hard, neither do your 90-day goals. So we know we need to focus in 90 days. We know that we need abundant urgency, that success is going to come in many forms, and that we need to be open to that. We want to do it right the first time, and we want to focus on one thing. And then we want to do more of those things, more of the right things. So what do I actually mean by do more of the right things? So I've worked with so many businesses, and they are excited to do more, right? And I'm all about that. Let's do more, right? But sometimes we need to let go. We need to do a little less. So there's a chance that you have some sacred cows in your business. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but in some religions, cows are sacred. That's where this comes from. But what this actually is killing of the sacred cows. And it sounds so horrible, right? Why are these cows revered, right? Well, in your business, you have tasks, you have things that you are potentially doing, but you have to decide, are these moving the business forward? If we stop doing these things, will we also stop making money? Because if you stop doing the thing and the answer is, oh, no, we actually don't stop making money, then stop doing the thing and actually focus on more of the actions that make you money, more of the right things and less of the busy work. And it's amazing to me how much of us say, well, I've always been told, it's common knowledge that they say, I love that they say, who are they? Who are these people? That you need to post so often on social media, that you need to, have this going, you need to have that going. What I will tell you is that quality beats quantity every day of the week. I will tell you that doing the right thing and doing fewer of those right things will get you further ahead than doing a ton of things just kind of half-cocked, right? Which goes back into when you focus on one thing, right? And then if you're focusing on the one thing and then you're doing the right things for the one thing, it's so much easier to do. So let's go back to this 90-day scenario. So let's say that you narrow down in your product or service that there are really 2 activities that drive revenue. And this is very common. Most businesses find that 2 to 3 activities or tasks drive the profitability of their service or for this, specific role in their business. 2 to 3, that's it. What comes up for you there? Does that feel lazy or is it empowering? To me, it's empowering. Because if I know when I come in, I sit down at my desk and I accomplish 2 things that day, I have 2 actions that day, I'm going to more willingly show up and do those things. And guess what? If those are actually driving revenue in my business, then I'm going to get those dopamine hits, AKA I'm going to see that revenue coming in and I'm going to want to do it more and more and more. And then all of a sudden, those 2 things that are driving your business, you are rocking and rolling. And it's not about 17 different things that you need to do. It's about the 2 things that maybe you're avoiding because they seem hard. But if you go all in for 90 days on those 2 to 3 actions that will drive the revenue in your business, wow, they won't be hard anymore. They'll be very simple because you'll get used to the cadence of it. You'll see it's not hard to do, and you'll see how nice it is to have that money in the business, which is great. So I want you to think about that because there's probably 2 to 3 right actions per job role in your business and no more. So let's talk about the 5th one. You like my dancing? I'm a terrible dancer. So ask for help and utilize it. So I will tell you, it's one thing to ask for help. It's like that friend that's like, oh, I need your advice. I don't know if I should do blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh my gosh, I know what you should do. You should do this, and this is why, and blah, blah. And you're so excited, right? You're so excited to share this because you know it's going to help this person. And what do? Nothing. They don't take your advice. They do this other thing, and it doesn't work out for them. And then, 6 months to a year later, they're like, oh my God, I tried this thing. And it like totally worked. And you're like, that's the thing I told you to do. So it's one thing to ask for help, but it's entirely different to utilize it. So I have seen people that are like, I need to hire people. And then they're like, well, actually, I don't trust those people. So I'm just going to do all this myself. So they're like, I need help with this, but I'm not going to utilize it. Or I'm going to buy a program, but I'm not going to utilize it. Like, okay. Or I'm going to spend a bunch of money and get somebody to revamp my website and do all these things and then not really use it. Like, what a waste, right? And when you say it out loud, we've all done it, right? Who here, I keep putting my hand in the wrong place. Who here has signed up for a gym membership and never entered the gym. We all do it. It's okay. What I'm telling you is today that ends. Today that ends. Today you are committing to asking for help and actually utilizing it. And we're going to talk about why utilizing it is so important. So the first one is when you utilize help, whether it's inside your business or outside of your business, you actually get a better, more robust solution. So let me say that again. When you utilize help, you get a better, more robust solution. Why is this? Because two heads are better than one. When you are asking someone, when you are talking to someone, when you're getting someone's help, all of a sudden you have to say what you need out loud, and they most likely will come back with questions that they might say are basic, but all of a sudden it opens your eyes to, I hadn't thought about that. The two smartest people in my business are my employees. Actually, I have three. So they are smarter than me. All three of them are smarter than me. You know why? Because they always bring up better questions and open my mind, and they are the reason that our solutions are so robust. So help and utilizing that help and listening to that help will actually create better products and services inside your business. So there's that. There's also accountability. So when somebody's waiting on you for things, you're more prone to actually doing those things, especially if you're like, guys, we're going to do this 90-day thing, and here's how it's going to break down. And all of a sudden you are held accountable to that. Now, something that I do inside the Leadership Operating System is I provide you accountability because I want to co-create with you. I want to co-create your 90 days with you. And the reason I want to co-create the 90 days is for this accountability, robust solution, and focus. That focus that we talked about, going all in on the one thing, doing the right things, that is all focus. But when you are utilizing help outside of your organization, you are more willing to see it, and somebody else is able to rein you in on where you are. Because you might say, oh yes, but we're going to do this and this and this. And having that accountability and utilizing it, they can rope you back in and keep you focused, which is key. It really is key. And finally, the most beautiful piece of all of these things in utilizing help, so asking for it's great, but utilizing that help, is it keeps things simple. It is amazing how you can have this great idea in your mind and you've got all these thoughts and you're like, I'm going to create this and this and this. And you actually repeat that thing to someone else. Hey, we're going here. We're going to do this. And they're like, that seems real hard. My director of customer support is my uncomplexifier, is what I like to call her. She takes all the complexity out of my ideas. In fact, she will throw at me how complex things could be if I choose the path that I'm going on. She is help that I asked for and I utilize every single day. And I want you to have the same opportunity. So I invite you to type the word shift in the comments if you would like to co-create your next 90 days with me. I would love to help you go all in on one thing. Keep the focus on that one thing while embracing that abundant urgency that your business needs. And I want to teach you how to touch things one time. Do it right the first time. Hire cheaper, lower cost, but better quality help so that you can create a more profitable and sustainable business without working 14-hour days. That's really the goal. So if you are interested in this, I would love for you to type the word shift in the comments. I will personally message you and we will see if a success strategy call is in your future, where we will go deep on your business, building out a strategy and see if working together is right. So I hope that you have a wonderful day and let's make the next 90 days your best.